Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll show you how to fetch an API using a real example. Today we will be fetching the Swappy API, the Star Wars API. And it says all the Star Wars data you've ever wanted: planets, spaceships, vehicles, peoples, films, and species from all 7 Star Wars films. So as you can see, right now we're the people/1. It's showing us a JSON file from Luke Skywalker. And these are his properties: name, height, mass, hair color, etc., etc. Okay, so first of all, we need to create a button. So when we want to fetch, we want to click a button for the API to get fetched. Let's first create a button. I'll call the button fetch. We will not give it an ID. Then let me add a break tag, and I'll add a div which we will print inside all of our fetched data. As you can see, when I refresh my screen, we have a fetch button. So let's call these elements into the JavaScript. We'll call the button. Let's say const button equals document dot query selector, and we'll just select the button element. Same thing for the div element, but I'll just call it container. Const container equals the same thing, document.query selector, and I'll insert the tag name. Okay, let's first create an event listener for our button. So button dot add event listener, and the event is going to be click, of course, because we want to get a data when we click the button. And we will add an arrow function. Okay, so now we can start. We will use the fetch function here, and inside we'll put 2 backticks, and we will paste our link here, our API link. We don't need a key for this. You just need to paste the Swappy link. So we'll get this here. Okay, so you want to do dot then keyword. So after it's fetched, you open 2 empty brackets, and we will do a function here. So we'll make an arrow function and we want to get a data. So the data from the API, let's call this with the arrow. We want to parse it into JSON. That's right. So what error we get here, it will get parsed into a JSON. And then this will give us a response. So it will be a second arrow function. Let me see, okay. And I'll just call the response res. And arrow function. Okay, now we're ready to go. Okay, let me switch to my tab here. As you can see, the name is Luke Skywalker. So we want to print out the name in our container. So the first thing we're going to do, we'll type container dot inner HTML in this case, because I will add a paragraph inside. So you know what, let's just do an h1, and let's close the h1. Okay, and we'll say name, and we'll open a template string. This is the most important thing. We'll put our response, res, dot, and name. Okay. When I click fetch, we should get the name. As you can see, we just fetched the name from the API. For example, let's fetch his height and mass and hair color. How will we do that? We'll create the h2 element, and let's close the h2 element, and let's type height. So his height is, let's open a template string, and the response dot his height. So this is similar to objects. So we call it by using res dot and our property I want to call. If I press fetch, it will give us his height. Let's, for example, fetch his eye color. h3, the h3 tag. Let's close the h3 tag. And let's type eye color, and let's actually fetch it by typing our response name here, res dot eye underscore color. When I click fetch, it will fetch his color. So thank you guys for watching. This is it. This is how you fetch an API with a real example. Have a nice day and happy coding.